me. Alright, here we go.
Alright, so we're good there. We're good over there. Jay, what was that noise you were just making?
I was clearing my throat. It's a speaking exercise. And so, like, you can also say red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, and that should, like, loosen your tongue. Try it.
Me, 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 me.
Now, red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather.
It's hard, huh? Red
It's
leather,
very
yellow
hard.
leather.
It's very hard. But what I want to show everybody before we do anything is this. Now you're gonna have to listen real close. You're gonna have to listen real close. I'm gonna get this camera a little bit angled, a little bit closer towards me. Are you still in it, Jake?
I think so.
All right, y'all have to listen. Listen.
Hi, Lester Longhorn here, trying to video text, but wait, Carl,
Oh my God, wait, Carl.
So, that's horrible, Jake. You're gonna. All right. First of all, Jake and I are both sick. You're looking at two sickos here, truly sick individuals. But even though we have both been sick, and I mean very sick, maybe not sick as sick, but we both have not felt well. We have gotten outside to work every day this week, and we have worked our tails off. I'd say at least 4 hours a day, every day. We normally try to be done by noon, and we have completely finished one full side of fencing there along my dad's stretch of fence.
That's probably why we're not getting any better.
And that you know, I know that when you're sick, you're supposed to eat right, you're supposed to rest, and we haven't slowed down enough to rest. And it's because I want, you know, I know you're the same way, but we get excited about something, and you just can't seem to slow down. You just want to get it done. And we have a really big project in the works. If you have not watched our YouTube video, I posted on YouTube this morning a little bit of what we're doing, and I was really happy reading some of the responses. People are just so overjoyed that I have decided to hold off on the Longhorn Lesters for a little while and go ahead and just at least try to do enough fencing to be able to, I was going to say, contain both bulls on their own sections of the fence. Everyone knows that it's hard to fence and spend money, invest money in land that is not rightfully yours. And so Tex, I just worry about how much this is going to cost, and it may be all for nothing. It may be all for nothing as far as Tex goes. But at the same time, it will be good fences to serve a lot of people for a very, very long time. I was telling Jake that these fences will be around as long as he is. So they'll outlast me easily, and then they'll last a lot longer than that. But this was cute, and I wanted to show you this because it was gifted to me this week. So I don't know if you can really hear what it says. There's a funny story behind this, but I'm not laughing at the individual who sent it. I want to repeat, this is a Build-A-Bear. All right, this is a little Longhorn from the Build-A-Bear. It comes complete with certification, has its very own ID number. So this is a once. Oh, this may be the only one out there, Jake. But it comes with all of the things they do from Build-A-Bear. I have two sons, so I've never been to Build-A-Bear. Have you ever taken Brinley to Build-A-Bear?
Never.
So I know that it's a place in the mall, and you go in there, and I've passed by, and I've watched them, and they will literally just kind of build your your ideal stuffed animal.
These things are expensive too.
And they're very expensive, which is another reason why I'm glad I have sons and have never gone to Build-A-Bear, and why I've never allowed my sons to play with stuffed animals, because I'm not going to spend that much on a Build-A-Bear. But no, this lady, y'all, look what she's done. Not only did she go into Build-A-Bear and get them to build her a Longhorn, but then she got them to add a little sound to it. So it's a sound recording, and so if you push it, here you go, listen.
Hi, Lester Longhorn here. Trying to video text. But wait, Carl! Jeez.
So she took a couple of Lesterisms right there. It's kind of funny. She said, pull your chair up a little bit, Jake. I'm back. I'm too far back. So she goes, hi, Lester Longhorn here. And she goes, I'm coming out to video text. And she goes, but wait, Carl!
Carl!
Carl! And then, I normally say sheesh. I think that she said geesh. Did you hear that?
Play it again.
Listen, this is cute. Listen, I love this. I love this. I love it.
Hi, Lester Longhorn here. Trying to video text. But wait, Carl! Jeez.
Jeez. Anyway, so I got it in the mail, and I have laughed and laughed and laughed, and I have shown this to everybody who will take time to look at it. And then she also sent me a letter, and I want to read you a little bit of that letter if I could. Here, Jake, you hold Longhorn Lester right there.
All right.
First of all, she says, I don't mind if you read this out loud. She goes, it is my life. So she's completely content. And then it's funny because she goes, of course, it would be shorter if I didn't have to print big. And we know when she's printing big, she knows that I can't read the little cheat stuff. Anyway, I'm writing this so that Lester does not need his cheat readers. I saw this and thought about Longhorn Lester, and I had to get it for you and for your family to share. I had to wait for it to get delivered, and then I had to go to the local Build-A-Bear to stuff it and record. I was nervous while recording because I was not in a private area, but instead in a wide open store.
So starting off making videos, like if I was in public, I would always be quiet, but now I don't care. I'm just whatever.
Well, what's funny about that is Jake and I, Jamie, Ellie, my dad, I think all of us, Brinley, when we first started making videos, it's hard to make a video in front of people. So it's not uncommon for me to walk out to the barn, and like Jake said, he would be out there making a video, but he would see me, so he would stop making his video. And I learned real fast that it's because he's still fairly new to it, and it's hard. It is hard to make a video when you know someone's listening to you, because you feel like they're judging you, they're evaluating you, they're thinking this video sucks or whatever.
Even though you're going to put it out there for the world to look at.
But you'll edit it first, and so it was the same way for all of us. And it does get easier, and so now, it's funny, I can walk out to the barn now, and Jake will be out making a video, and he never stops. He just keeps doing what he was doing. Ellie's the same way. He never stops. But, so here this lady was sitting in her public Build-A-Bear, and there was no private room for her to make a recording, and she had to make that recording to go inside that thing.
Can you imagine if she really just started yelling, "No, Carl! No, Carl!"
Oh my gosh. So she says she was nervous recording because she was not in a private area, but instead a wide open store. So instead of saying Longhorn Lester, she accidentally said Lester Longhorn, and then they would not let her re-record it.
What?
You know what? I know, right? It doesn't matter. I think it's beautiful. In case y'all are wondering why I'm looking back and forth, we have two recordings going right now. We're doing both like in the old days. We're going with YouTube over here on our left, and then we have Facebook over here on our right. And so that's really awesome. We had to use one of the old phones and make sure we were linked up to Jake's internet and everything. But this is pretty awesome. But that's why we're kind of like jumping around back and forth. And so someone says, I just liked it on YouTube. Not sure what that means, but that's cute. Anyway, we are very blessed to be here. It is Friday, Lunch with Lester, and of course we have Jake. This is the second week in a row that Jake has been around to do this with me. And I'm glad he is, because it makes it a whole lot easier when someone's in here with you than just being by yourself. I always bring things to open. I don't really do the whole gift and goodies like we used to. Those were hour-plus long videos, and it was taking forever to edit, forever to upload, and then I'm not being rude or disrespectful, but they were probably some of the lesser watched videos. Everyone knows that I'm big on the analytics. I watch the analytics like crazy. And so on a normal video, you get folks who will spend, 9-10 minutes if you're lucky. And then, but then on your gifting goodies, when you have a whole hour full of amazing gifts that you open, and you have people just watching a couple of minutes. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't take anything away from you guys. The blessings were still received. The animals and the humans who you blessed, we still received that blessing. But the videos themselves, people just are not, maybe it's COVID. I always thought that maybe it was COVID, people having a hard time financially, people having a hard time, staying in work and making ends meet. And here they are watching this guy open gifts for an hour. And it's always weighed on my heart that I thought that never felt right. So what I do now is I just bring a couple of things inside here when we do it in the studio, or if I do it in the side-by-side, I'll do a couple of things over there. I just hope that you guys know, and Jake is witness to this, that the animals are living their best lives, because the folks who send the mealworms, especially mealworms, oatmeal used to be the number one. Go ahead and talk about why mealworms are so important. I need to get me a quick drink.
Why mealworms are important?
Why are mealworms so important lately?
Because we have 4 ostriches to feed.
Not only do we have all
17 ducks.
Yeah, well, Jamie is out of control. I hope that she's not watching this. I'm hoping that she's not watching this. If she is, she's probably watching it on this computer. So I'm gonna look over here. Yeah, Jamie is a little bit out of control with all of these feathered babies. Now, granted, the ostriches don't really count but 17 baby ducks, baby chicks. Every time you turn around, there's more chickens.
Gosh, yeah.
We have ducks and geese everywhere. And guys, they love to feast on mealworms. And if that wasn't bad enough, now all of a sudden we have these ostriches. And even though we have a mixed blend that we give them that's scientifically, built for them, it doesn't matter. They love mealworms. If you put a container of mealworms in front of them, yes. And this is how fast they're eating. I'm not making this up. And now they do it at the same time, Jake. And this is how it looks. And we go through mealworms like crazy. And I told Jake that it's been nice. The blessings that y'all have sent with the oatmeal, because how much our pigs enjoy the oatmeal. But my God, we are going through mealworms like crazy. And I just don't know how to make them slow down, because it's cute. You love to see your animals eat and be healthy. If y'all are wondering why we're all bundled up, it's cold here. It is cold here. Even though Jake's house is nice and warm, it's freezing outside. We've been outside in this weather all morning. But like I said, we got the fence completely finished on one side. And so we'll be starting the other side of this thing next week.
And tomorrow I get to sleep in.
Tomorrow you can sleep in.
Oh, God.
Wait.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's Saturday.
Unless we got something to do, I'll be there.
I forgot. I do give Jake his weekends off. I forgot. I am a nice guy as far as that goes. I give Jake his weekends off. Anyway, but no, we've been sick, and it's hard enough. But Jake and I also are very similar in the fact that we can't just sit in the house. We can't. And so even when we are sick and we know that we should just lay up a little bit, we're both the kind who just have to get out and do something. You know, we can sit around for a little while and we take our cold medicine or we take whatever we have to take to keep the fever off and whatever else, but we can't just sit in the house. So it's not uncommon to see us out and about doing stuff. So, anyway, you're not saying much. What's going on? Why you?
You hadn't stopped talking. I don't even think you've taken a breath this entire time.
So you should know that I get nervous, and nervousness shows itself in different ways. And everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. Feel my hands. They're not cold and clammy.
No.
Yours are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
That's because I'm like this. I'm trying to keep warm in here. I'm freezing.
Gross. You talk about my shoes, my Crocs being all grossed up. So a lot.
What?
The reason I was going here is that people show their nervousness in different ways. And some people get cold and clammy hands. Some may get this cold sweat. I don't think you got a cold sweat going.
My hands always sweat all the time.
Some may talk really, really fast. And some just can't stop talking. And I think that's my sign of a nervous energy, is that I just talk. I just get nervous and I can't stop talking. I'm looking over here at 1,000 people over there, and there's almost 3,000 over here, and that's nerve-wracking, Jake. That is nerve-wracking.
That's why I'm being quiet, so I can't embarrass
You
myself.
can't make a fool of yourself?
Yeah.
I would rather you make a fool of yourself sometimes. So that's true. Lester says a lot of people turn red when they get embarrassed, and I also do that. I do turn red. I'm red right now because my face is cold blistered. This is not red from being embarrassed. This is cold blisters. We've been out in the cold, like I said, all week, and it's been cold here. Jake, can you read any of what these people are saying? Oh, someone says just stop and breathe. I'm breathing.
I can't breathe. I'm having a hard time. My face is all stopped up.
Anyway,
Horrible.
Jamie's at the house. She's working. And so Friday is kind of reserved for Lester and Jake if he's available. Jake is lucky though. Jake gets invited into a lot of lives. And because Jake is just, well, number one, we're at Jake's house. So we're kind of obligated to invite him in.
If you don't invite me, I'm just going to show up anyway.
If we don't invite him, he's going to show up anyway. So it is what it is. And then number two, we're using Jake's internet. You know, we could never do live before Jake.
If you don't invite me, I'm unplugging it from the wall.
And I believe he would. I think he would do that. So, would you like to talk about Tiny Tina and how much we love her?
I do love
tell
Tiny
everybody the whole story of Tiny Tina in case they haven't seen the videos. Just so you know, because I don't think I told you this, I have shown almost every ostrich video on YouTube, but I've only shown a few on Facebook. For no personal things, except for we have a lot harder time getting videos approved through Facebook. I've mentioned that before. Also, the audience on Facebook, even though we all are animal lovers or you wouldn't be here in the first place, the attention as far as how much time you have to devote to videos has always been less on Facebook than on YouTube. YouTubers go to YouTube to watch videos. Yeah, you go to watch. And I still feel like, and this is just me assuming, I still feel like most Facebook people go to Facebook to check up on your family members and to see what your neighbors had for dinner last night. And if you're a younger person, you probably go to see what your ex-girlfriend's up to.
I mean, think about Facebook though. Like when you get on Facebook, you never stop scrolling.
That is so true.
You read, you scroll, read, scroll.
Most people, when they go to Facebook, they constantly scroll. I do it with my thumb. I just up, and I just that's how fast I absorb the tidbits of information that Facebook offers me. Mm-hmm. And so on Facebook, it's very rare that I would ever stop and watch a full-length video, especially if it's 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes. And so we're blessed in the fact that the folks who YouTube, they do, for the most part, they'll watch almost the entirety of a video. And that's because they go to YouTube to watch videos. And a lot of Facebook people, you go for other reasons. And there's nothing wrong with that.
On a video.
sometimes you'll watch a full length if you stumble upon it, and we appreciate that. So go ahead and tell the whole story of Tiny Tina, because she is really, she is grabbing a lot of hearts over there. I'll stop talking for a minute, and you just tell everybody the story of Tiny Tina, the ostrich.
All right, you ready?
I zip it in my lip, and I'm going to swallow the key. That makes no sense at all. Listen, if you zip your lips, how are you going to open it to swallow the key?
No, you put the key in there first. Oh wait, how would that? Because then how would you lock it?
I know. What kids always do is they do this.
Yeah, then you didn't really lock it. You just opened your mouth.
Yeah. Anyway, I really will.
You want me to tell the story about Tina?
Please talk about Tina.
Okay.
Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina. So Tiny Tina, we all know, got a little injury, wound, whatever you want to call it.
How did she get a little injury wound?
How? From running and running and running. I guess she hadn't learned her barriers yet. It was a new pasture. She wasn't, and honestly, you said the pasture that she came from was a lot smaller.
Oh, yeah.
So she probably wasn't used to.
Well, I think even more than that. So I think that the reason that she kept running is because she was not ready to be anywhere near a man ostrich. In the pasture that she had come from, she was with other male ostriches, but they were all young. And so when they're young like that, before the right age, then they're not a threat. They're a bunch of fun, goofy ostriches.
Mm-hmm.
But so even though Debbie and Wanda both were very excited about meeting Carl, Tina was terrified. And so Jake's right. She began to run the fences, and as she was running, she would sometimes run her chest up along the fence, and it created an abrasion. I'm sorry, wait.
And rubbing and rubbing and
rubbing.
rubbing.
Rubbing, or an abrasion. I'm going to use a few dollar words here.
Dollar words.
Yeah, like academic vocabulary. So she created an abrasion on her chest here.
Okay. So then what we did, we caught her. Well, first we let her into the text pasture because she was running by. We just opened the gate. She happened to run in there. So luckily. So then we lured her over there. We grabbed her and we took her to the first stall. We doctored her up. She started to get better. But then the longer she was in there, we noticed like she's kind of looking at like just a barn, and she's looking at some other stalls. She couldn't really see anything going on. So then after, I guess, 2 days, we moved her into the other stall.
So wouldn't you agree that we've discovered how social of an animal they are?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've always known that Carl, whenever we would walk out to the pasture, he'd always come to us. We thought because he wanted to kick our asses. And that was probably
That's still true.
partially true. He comes to us because he wants to beat up on us. But we realize now, having the females there, that they don't come to fight. They're the ostrich in general, all of them, Carl and the 3 females, they just want to be around people. They're like a bunch of Pablos, right? A bunch of Cornholios.
Yeah.
You go out there for anything, and some animals are going to come to you. And that's crazy how Carl and all 3 females are like that. But like Jake said, when Tina was in that one of the stalls that we put her in, it was one of the stalls that doesn't have a view out. And so even though she could kind of see the wall of the barn and our feed room, we knew that she was just pacing. She couldn't see out. And so we moved her. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We moved her. So every single comment on this screen said, I thought Jake was telling the story. Okay, so we moved her into the other stall. So then, she would just stand in the corner of that stall and just stare at the littles. Just stare at them all day long. So I guess after, a week total, I guess she was all healed up. And so we decided
I'm not laughing at you. I'm reading
make the move. And
Y'all are so mean to me. Y'all really are so mean to me.
Oh my god. That's funny. So we finally took her into the littles, and she fit in almost immediately. Like, she was scared for a little bit, kind of getting used to the chaos, but after that she just walks around like a normal little.
Yeah, so what'd you say? Did you say we moved her to the littles yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you reading comments?
Yeah.
You just zoned me out over here.
I did. No, it was cute because we discovered a lot about her while she was in the stall. I should let Jamie share this. This is something that Jamie discovered, but she loves songs. especially when Jamie sings to her.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work if we sing.
Yeah, especially when I sing to her, I haven't noticed anything different besides her hitting the walls again. Bam! Trying to get away. But no, Jamie has learned that she likes certain songs, and she loves goldfish, the little cracker goldfish. We haven't given her any real shad or fish yet, tuna or anything like that. But as far as goldfish, the little crackers, my God. And she's not like Carl where she'll eat multiple at a time. She takes one at a time.
Yeah, that's so weird.
You offer her an entire palm full of goldfish, and she sits there and she'll take one at a time and literally look at you and chew it.
Mm-hmm.
And she just loves that. She loves that.
You
But,
just saw what you did to me earlier.
Oh,
I tried
no.
to give her a say, I'm like this, I have my hand out, and she got this finger, she got this finger, and she
Yeah.
just went down the line, did not eat a single snack out of my hand.
No, that is funny. So we have moved her to our little's pasture, and she has not skipped a beat, y'all. From the time we moved her over, and then Jake pulled off this little sleeve that we put over her head to move her. She just looked around for a little bit, and all the littles looked at her, and they already had time to see each other from that stall.
And they were across the fence too for a while.
And they were right there across the fence. So the hardest thing that we're having to deal with right now is how in the world do you feed little Tina without our goats just always messing with her, trying to get her food.
So the day we moved Carl into the ostrich pasture, I was so excited because we had tried so many contraptions to try to fix that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to do it anymore. And now we're back
Now
to
we're
square
doing it
one with
again.
Tina. And the thing, but she's not as tall, so it has to be shorter, so it's much harder to keep it away.
Because Brady, Lenny, Shirley Bird, they're such big goats, they can stand up, and they can even stand on their hind legs. And they can reach whatever container we have set up for Tina. So this morning what Jake did was Jake took all of the goats and he shook the bucket with some corn and led them all out into the middle pasture, and then we closed the gate behind them. And that left Tina in the little's barn pasture by herself. And we fed her, and she was able to eat in peace. It is cute though, because all the little ducks we were talking about, they all come run underneath her. And because if she spills anything, these little ducks are all eating it up like crazy. And it's so scary. Hold on. Sorry. It is so scary to me to see her big old feet and these little ducks just climbing all around them.
Yeah, they just dart around.
And they are just so trusting, and it's so cute to watch. I feel like with all that we have right now, this is as close to what I would envision a real farm as I could have ever before. I know that, think about it for a minute. So I guess farms come in all shapes.
What's a real farm?
Hold on, this is what I was trying to say. This is true. I really do think this is true. I guess in my mind, when I was younger, and I always pictured a farm, I used to picture a farmer as someone that raises his own food to eat. He raises crops. He has a milk cow. And that's just kind of what I always pictured farmer. And so even though I had always had animals, none of us ever considered ourselves farmers. Never. Growing up, we were never farmers. I was a school teacher, yet I had a couple of animals like as a hobby that, they're our pets. And so when I come home now and I walk out to the barn and you see all the little ducks running towards you, of course you see the horses doing their things and the cows doing theirs and the bull and
moo.
You
tried to skip moo on purpose.
I wasn't going to skip your moo.
You were.
And then next thing you know, you just realize that this is a farm. This is a farm, and you're able to throw the little corn out for the little ducks and the geese, and that's crazy. And then you have your goats doing their thing, and it's just a beautiful farm lifestyle that I'm loving. I love it so much. So let me go ahead and address this person, but I am just going to say, and I don't care if you're upset because you should be ashamed of yourself. if you try to, they call that spamming. They call that spamming the live. Anybody who takes the time to repeatedly scream the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's not just us that sees that. It's everybody else sees that too. Everyone's seeing that. And that's very annoying. It's very disrespectful to the live. If we want to address something, then we will address it. If we were doing a question and answer, then we would address it, obviously. So I'm going to answer you, but I would promise you one thing. If I were at home moderating, I would have already booted you.
What was the question? Is it an important question?
Yes. So everyone's saying it now, how annoying this person's being. They keep asking, they're demanding to know where Sookie's at. And Jamie has already addressed that. And so Jamie has addressed Sookie. My dad has addressed Ivan. And so if you want those kind of answers, then you go to the pages of the people that are that's their place to tell you something. You don't demand from me to know about my dad's animals or about Jake's love life. Now, I'll tell you all about his love life. How much do y'all want to know?
Oh, no. What are we doing?
How much do y'all want to know? You see, it's neat because whenever two guys work together a lot, they talk. And it's not, two guys would never sit around here at the house and talk about their love life and stuff. Guys just don't do that. But when you're working, then sometimes things just come out. And so,
now
I'm embarrassed.
I said I had 20 minutes. I said I had 20 minutes.
Don't leave me. Please don't
I'll
leave
open
me.
one package before I go.
All right, let's open a package.
What one?
Oh, I brought a few things in. I
You
felt
wanna open that tube one?
Huh?
You want to open that tube?
Yeah, we got a funny tube. We got a tube of a package. Yeah, I don't mean to be mean. That probably come across as me being pretty rude. It's in my pocket, Jake. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
That come across as me being kind of rude. But seriously, y'all, I used to always talk to my students about, I would call it a life lesson. And so what you have to do sometimes as a teacher, this is just a teacher, is if you have an opportunity that presents itself that the kids, the students need to know, you make that life lesson, because that may never get brought up again in their lives, and they need to know certain life skills. And so it's not my role to tell you about internet etiquette, but I just want you to understand that it's a blessing to be able to be live and come live, but everybody needs to have a chance to comment or say what they want to say. But when someone begins to spam the live and you just repeat the same thing, enter, 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 that becomes very, very annoying to a lot of people. All right, Jay,
You ready?
So we have received this in this FedEx tube. And who did it actually was it addressed to?
Lester and Jamie.
Okay, so it came to Lester. Yeah, okay, Lester and Jamie at I'm a Survivor.
All right. Here is your first letter and item.
Okay, so there is a Classics Christmas Favorites, a movie. And then there is a letter. And it is a pretty lengthy letter.
That is a long letter.
This is a long letter.
Oh my goodness, it's 4 pages?
I'm always scared to read letters on lives because sometimes things are personal and people don't always want to have their personal things put out there. But I just will say that I will say this. She starts off with a compliment and says that the stories that I tell, talking about me, and the characters that I create for my animals are funny and relatable. And let me talk about that for a minute. Guys, I believe that I went off on a rant once. I got upset and I was angry. It was during the whole Carl episodes, and I got upset. And I reminded everybody that these animals have not changed, because everyone kept saying that ever since you got Carl, all of the animals have changed. They have no more personalities. What are you laughing about?
That's just funny.
But so I got upset, and I was rude, and I says, hey, I give them their personalities. I'm the one that creates the stories. Just because I'm telling a Carl story and not a Ringo story doesn't mean Ringo's lost his character and his personality.
Trust me, Ringo's the exact same he's ever been.
Every animal is the exact same today as they were yesterday, as the days that we got Carl. And so the only difference is sometimes we get excited about a new animal, like a kid gets excited about a new toy, and we may sometimes focus more on the new ones. And so she says that she really enjoys all of the animals' characteristics and personalities. So instead of us creating them, we don't create them, we just bring them out. We just, if anything, we do like an author of a book. And an author of a really good novel is going to have characters. And that author in a creative piece of fiction will create the good guy, the villains, the protagonist, the antagonist. And we don't have to do that, because here on our farm, you know who the bad guys are.
Yeah.
You know who the villains are.
Should we all name them together? Ringo, Carl.
Well, let's think about that for a minute. This is fun to do. This is really fun to do when you picture who are the villains of I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. Because what I've tried to do is make Billy be the villain. But so that's the only way I'm controlling anything, is I'm putting my own little spin to what I'm actually watching. But there's no one that can turn a button to make Tex march over there and destroy a roll of hay.
Gosh, our lives would be so much easier.
Yeah, so none of our animals are trained to do stuff like that. All we do is document, and then we tell a story along with it. And so that might be the creative part on our end. But I appreciate you saying that you enjoy those so much. It makes it a lot of fun. And then she really enjoys the humor. So thank you so much. And then she goes off. She also talks to Jamie, and she wants parts of her story to go to each of us. So I'll pass this along to Jamie when I get home. Let's see what you have in the roll-up. And I'm trying to find her name. Oh, okay. So it's from the entire family. It's from Michael, Christina, Gypsy, Gracie, and Wookie. I'm wondering if Wookie might be a pet, or is there someone in the family named Wookie?
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what you got there. Looks like more wall art for Jake's room here.
Look at this.
Are those donkeys?
They're donkeys.
That's really great.
That's awesome.
Now, that looks like either charcoal or pencil drawing. Can you tell?
I can't tell. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, I believe that might be charcoal art. And I'm not sure, guys. I'm not of the artistic. Hold on, don't stick it there. Don't. And we'll get a
frame.
We can get a little frame. We have tons of frames, and we'll find one that we can get to put it up there. That's beautiful, though. So thank you and your family for sending that. That was very nice of you.
If anyone can also draw a Moo like this, that'd be awesome.
I don't know if y'all know how many pictures we have of Moo. Hold up those two paintings right
I
there.
think I have another one in
We got one over here.
Too.
And then those two were from your pictures that you took.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the sweater that he stole from me. That was my Christmas sweater. And
It was yours for like 3 minutes until I ran over here to
You
get
told me
it.
I looked too fat in it, Jake. You said that
No,
my gut.
I did not.
Well, you thought that my gut stuck out a little bit too much for that sweater. And,
I have all kind of Moo stuff now. I got the Moo glass thing, all these pictures of Moo. I got Christmas ornaments of Moo, if I can talk today. All right.
have you spent much time with Elfie?
Yes. I mean, I go over there every afternoon, but
Here's
Elfie,
right there.
I'm about to have to go.
No,
I'm about to have to
you
go. I do. But Elfie's gonna be worse than Big Boy. For sure.
So I just now said that it's not our place to tell you about other people's animals. should be reserved for their pages. I wouldn't like it if you go to my dad to find out about how our ostriches are doing, because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
You know, he has no idea. But what I'm saying is, I did spend time yesterday with Elfie, and I had the most fun. I had the most fun with that little goat. I had fun. I had fun. I made a video, and it's going to come out tomorrow. But I'm calling it I Believe in Miracles, because it was no more than 2 weeks ago that Bree took that little guy to the vet, and he did those x-rays on his arms and legs, and it showed the 2 fractures, I guess one in the front, one in the back, right? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I just know 2 of them.
Yeah, he had 2 fractures, and I remember I told you, I was sitting here in Jake's front porch working on a video, and I am ashamed, I'm embarrassed to admit it now, but I didn't know what the best humane, I did not know what was the most humane thing to do with a goat that had 2 broken bones. Not only broken bones, but he was so malnourished, where he hadn't been eating.
Wouldn't walk. Laid on the porch and it didn't move.
Couldn't walk or wouldn't walk. And so I'm upset with myself for even suggesting that this might be maybe something you should consider in just euthanizing just such a young and sweet but very sickly little goat. And then I sat there yesterday in that yard playing with that goat and watching him do things and just loving life, just loving the hell out of life. And I just kicked myself in the ass and said, Lester, look at you. Look what I was, acting like. It was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It wasn't long ago. And man, what a miraculous turnaround. And so as far as things going on this week and just huge moments, there's had some fun stuff going on with Tina over at the house, watching Carl and Wanda and, Debbie. That's been a lot of fun. But my big aha moment, you ever heard of that? An aha moment?
The light bulb goes off.
My aha moment was when I played for an hour out there with Elfie yesterday. I wasn't invited over. I felt bad because I trespassed into Brienne's yard, but I don't think she was home, so I don't think she knows. Even though I did buy everybody security cameras for Christmas.
Mine's up.
Jake has his set up, and it was funny because a couple of nights ago, Jamie and I snuck over here late, and we were going to upload a video, and all of a sudden this camera turns to face us. And Jake's camera is mounted on his front porch. And it picked up the motion, I guess. Jake wasn't home. Jake was over at Bree's. They were having dinner. But from his phone, he can control his camera. And so, and he's sitting there watching us.
In the afternoons when I get home, I can zoom in over there and see Moose standing there eating hay.
Oh my gosh. So he can take his camera from the front porch here and zoom around and spot the animals out in the pasture. So that is a neat
Why
little...
Why is telling me to smile? Am I not doing something?
I don't know if I hurt your feelings or something, Jake.
I don't know.
Or maybe they're saying I'm just talking too fast. I have no idea. But
I don't know, but I do gotta go eat, really.
thank you.
No problem. Bye, everybody.
Oh, Jake, one last thing.
Hi, Lester Longhorn here, trying to video text, but wait, Carl!
Yeesh. I love that. Thanks for letting me borrow your house, Jake. I will not tear anything up, and I will not steal a thing, I promise. I have a couple of more things I can open here. I'm not going to take a whole lot more of your time. So I am back to work. I worked this morning, drove my bus. So what I have over here, this is funny. Warning. This property is protected by a highly trained pot-bellied pig, not responsible for injury or possible death. And then, of course, the fluffy butt hut. The last one in is a rotten egg. So it looks like one of those will be for me and one can be for Jamie. And we appreciate that. I'm trying to see if there's a letter. Sometimes, here we go. Uh-oh. Okay, so it does say Lester Morrow on the package here, but it says Jamie here. Hey Jamie, I saw this sign and thought about you. I think that you get a big kick out of it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from Abby. So, oh, well here's mine. Hey Lester, I saw this sign and since you really love pigs, I had to get this for you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Abby. Well, thank you, Miss Abby. I appreciate that. That's sweet of you. I do have a couple of more things to open, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this live short. I feel like I'm getting kind of hoarse. My throat's getting a little bit dry. But I do want to say thank you all for the love and the support. We've kicked off a pretty good new year. There's been some, there have been some little rough spots with Jamie and Sookie, and obviously my dad with Ivan. And I know I'm probably leaving something out. But 2022, somebody joked whenever Jamie was doing her live, and they said 2022, how did they say it? They set their beer on the counter and says, hey, 2021, watch this. And so I'm hoping it's not going to end up being that rough of a year. But I'll tell you what, it started off a little bit rough around here. But like I said, we did get the fence, or at least the first part of the fence done. And so I'm so excited about that. And I also want to add one thing. The number one comment, the comment that I thought was the funniest comment that I have read in a very, very, very long time. On that video on YouTube where I showed the fence line and us building the fence, somebody said, and this is why Lester likes to take baths. And it's true, because there is nothing better. Guys, there's nothing, for me, more relaxing than getting out, working all day, especially if I'm not feeling real well. And there's nothing better than being able to come in and lay in that tub for a while. And so, whoa, trust me, I've done that a lot. Poor Jamie is probably sick of me laying in the tub. But that's just my thing. Well, thank you all very much. So we will, Jamie and I both come live together on Sundays. We did miss last week, and I think that we explained why. There was just so much going on. And we're hoping that things will be kind of lined out and we can kind of go ahead and move forward and get back to our regular lives on Sunday afternoons at 3 o'clock. And so until then, we will see y'all. Make sure that you remember that we always have videos for anyone that we get these emails a lot and they say, hey, I was worried about you. I haven't seen you guys lately. Is everything okay? And just know that the algorithms for Facebook are constantly changing, and I'm not sure how they control that. And so many times it has to be up to you to go look at the page to find the latest videos. So anyway, that's all I got. I want to thank y'all again for joining me. I know it's middle of the day, and I just, it means a lot. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and turn these things off, and we will see y'all next time. Finish and cancel.